It's the eye of the spider. It's poison in one bite. Oh, look out. I'm an excellent fighter. That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, because it was made by a child.
The creepers and the zombies, other mobs of the night. Spiders give you some string and the eye of the spider.
He was clearly just a kid just trying to make some rhymes about Minecraft and not doing a very good job, of course.
Don't fall into the void. It's so odd. When it comes to your days, they're the last ones. Okay. Israfel? No, I'm trying to... Like, this is a lyric. Israel...
Oh,
How the fuck do you pronounce that word? I posted it in the podcast channel.
okay, yeah, I was going to say, let me see.
It's some sort of Minecraft.
Israfel?
Yeah, I would say, like, Israfel or Israfel.
All right, let's just go with Israfel.
Or it could be like
Israfel...
Urafel or something. Something dumb like that. Like the S is silent.
Ugh.
Fuck if I know.
Let's see. Random guy's name. He's no evil game mod. What? Just a villain of the Great Yogg's cast. So I think this is how we're going to start the podcast.
Jesus Christ.
So we've had some time to sit and play some Smash with the illustrious Steve. The Steve from The Minecraft. You know, that Steve.
Minecraft Steve.
Holy crap, Lois, it's Minecraft Steve.
He's had, at the time of this recording, he's had one patch which removed something fun from him. They nerfed his meat.
Nerf the meat.
Gentlemen, thoughts on Steve?
Meh.
Nah.
Just a big meh. Like, I thought he was going to be more fun. Now that I played him, I'm a little bored with him. Like, I'll still throw him out from time to time now, but there's still a lot of other people I'd rather play as. I can see how it can be good. Like, there's been so many times where you guys have just trapped me in that fucking minecart and it just brought me to my doom. But I don't know. I just don't find him that fun to use.
See, I'm quite opposite. I do find him to be very fun to use, but I still just hate the fact that he's there. Like,
oh yeah,
his tools are a lot of fun to mess around with, but he's so fucking broken. Like, and not even in terms of like, oh, he's too good, nerf the shit out of him. I mean, he does have a couple moves that I think are too fucking strong. But like, when I say he's broken, he breaks the way the game functions. Like, he introduced 2 brand new bugs, at least one of which got kicked in the patch. But just the way all of his moves work, like, he's too many gimmicks rolled up into one, and they just completely change how a match works. And I don't like it. Like, he's a lot of fun to use, but the blocks, the minecart just flying all the fucking over the place, the way that the crafting table blocks physical attacks, like, it won't block projectiles, but like things like jabs, smashes, Charizard's fucking flare blitz, it eats that. So if you use flare blitz and that's in the way, well, you're an idiot. Fuck you, I guess. No, I just don't like him being there. His moveset is just, it's obnoxious.
That's what I think. It's just too much work. Like, I don't feel like having to mine for materials and stuff just to have a decent, a decent smash and decent regular A moves and stuff.
It's a bit harder to do that in free-for-alls. Like, one-on-ones, it's not so bad. And like, I don't think playing as him is too much work. I just think dealing with him is too much work.
Yeah, I mean, one can argue that they kind of dabbled with that type of thing with like Olimar and stuff with the Pikmin, but I think they just went way. That's not even on the same level as Steve. Like, Steve is just, they went overboard with it. And I guess it's in the spirit of Minecraft, but like, it almost goes to show, like, does it really belong in Smash so much? Like, these two things just don't mesh.
Yeah, and like, I mean, going to some of his stuff that I think is just too fucking strong. Like, his back air is gross. I do not understand why his forward air has a spike. I don't get it.
Wait, it does?
Yeah.
I didn't
Shit,
know
I realized
that.
The last frame or whatever. So when he swings down, it's the last couple frames of that animation is where the spike hitbox shows up. But it does not need to be there. It's fucking disgusting.
His block building is not as useful as I thought it was going to be.
It's
clunky.
It's clunky, but it has some uses.
I'm not quick enough with it, I guess.
It makes him a complete asshole off stage. Like
that's what I was thinking, because I thought it was going to be used to like block people from getting back on, and he could just make an easy little like pathway for himself to get back.
Yeah, like it doesn't fuck people over in the ways you would expect. Like it doesn't stop them from recovering, because most up Bs will just bust through the blocks and get rid of them. Like they just delete them, so it's fine. I was happy that didn't happen, but the blocks do give him an opportunity to just go off stage and do whatever the fuck he wants, more or less. Like he has that grab KO where if you hop off, like just off the edge, place a block, and then immediately down air, and then you do the grab. He'll do the grab while he's standing on his anvil, which is still, like, that counts as a platform, even as he's falling. So he'll grab whoever's near the edge, carry them down with him on the anvil, because the anvil will break the block, and then they can't get out in time to, like, do anything about it. And by the time it hits the bottom and the anvil disappears, that's when it'll do a grab release. And the timing window is pretty tight for Steve to get back, but he can do it. But the other character can't, because it grab releases them downwards. So you can just get fucking 0% kills on that. Another thing the blocks can do, they can fuck over some characters, like Inkling and Palutena. They can't get through those blocks. So he can edge guard them like it's nobody's business. Hell, on Palutena, he just has a 0 to death combo where you just jab walk them to the edge, jump, and do a forward air to spike her. Even if she's barely got any percent on her, she'll go down far enough, and then you put some blocks down, she can't get back up.
Damn.
It's fucking stupid.
That sounds brutal.
Plus, he just has, like, he doesn't have 0 to deaths on everybody, but his edge guard tools are just a pain in the dick. I hate them.
Do you think maybe it's because, like, you know, they had a hard time testing him since they can't do it in person, apparently? You think that might be why it's so kind of, he has so much broken shit or buggy shit?
A little bit to do with it, because I kind of have the same thoughts with Min Min. Like, she doesn't feel quite as balanced as the other DLC fighters did, and I mean, Steve doesn't feel balanced whatsoever, and I don't think any in-person testing would have fixed that. It's just the nature of his moveset. But yeah, I do think that the whole COVID shit and nobody being able to get together and test this in person is going to have an impact on basically the entire Fighter Pass 2. And we may not see, like, real corrections to it until the shit blows over.
No, I didn't even think of that would be a problem. That makes sense.
Yeah, well, he said as much, you know, in his Steve showcase, so...
yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of expecting more glitches in the upcoming DLC fighters, and I am expecting them to have some kind of either way underpowered or way overpowered shit that just isn't going to get caught until post-release.
Well, hopefully, you know, hopefully they actually pay attention to fan feedback and stuff, because I think that's going to be really valuable in this situation. But like, we all know Nintendo's track record with that type of thing, though. So,
I mean, it seems to be case-by-case basis. Like, Sakurai's team is they're paying more attention to that than Nintendo overall. So at least there's that.
I mean, they did patch the freaking meat thing right away.
I'm still so mad about that.
Whoop-de-doo.
So yeah, they're not going to patch balance issues or, you know, netcode issues, but, you know, they're going to patch offensive content, like, as soon as possible, though.
And then break a bunch of replays in the process.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the meat thing? I'm not sure.
So one of Steve's victory animations is he chomps down on some meat, and then the one thing that I thought was kind of odd about that was that the meat doesn't go away like it does in the source material. But yeah, he's just holding the meat after he's done chomping on it. And the position he's holding it in, coupled with the fact that it's just kind of a dark flesh-colored pixelated object, just makes it look like he's got his censored dick out.
Oh God, yeah. Oh my God.
There you
I
go.
did not see this. Jesus.
Just stroking his meat in victory.
Don't we all?
Oh God, yeah. You lost to Steve, bitch.
So I'm sad to see that go. It's a damn shame.
That is a shame. I can't believe I didn't hear about this.
But yeah, as far as things outside of Steve's moveset are concerned, we kind of covered this last time, but it just actually being able to play it and see it all in motion, it just reaffirms it. Visually, he just does not belong in Smash. Everything about playing as him, having him in the match, playing on the fucking Minecraft stage, it looks like a goddamn fan mod.
Yeah.
Can I bring up my gripe, Dave? Can I bring up my gripe?
What's your gripe, Roger?
Can you guess what it is?
Well, before you bring up your gripe,
Okay.
I want to mention I have been thinking about it, ways that they could have better worked Steve's visuals into the game. And we've already kind of covered that just ripping it wholesale, not the way to go. But I do think there are a couple things they could have done if they decided that they really fucking needed to put him in. So like, the Minecraft story mode shit that like Telltale does?
Yeah.
And like how those animate where, they've got the limbs all bending weirdly and shit.
You think they could have just did that?
Kind of, but not quite. So, I mean, look at any other fighter in Smash. When they're doing their big smash attacks, there's a lot of squash and stretch going on with their moves. Like Mario's fists will get bigger. Same with Banjo. Yoshi's head gets fucking gigantic when he does a forward smash. Just things where proportions will squash and stretch as they're doing different attacks. Just kind of add some personality and emphasis to them.
Donkey Kong expands.
So they could have taken a similar approach with Steve's animations, not quite the extreme as like Minecraft story mode, but give his limbs a slightly rubbery feel to them, where they just kind of like ever so slightly flex as he's swinging. So like that's something you could do with the animations, just real fucking slight and subtle, but enough to kind of make it fit with the rest of what the other characters are doing.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
For his visuals, they could have used, I don't know what the hell to call it, but like leave his texture as, the overall pixelated look, but, raise and lower certain items on him, like the shirt. You could just give that just this ever so slight bevel, I think the word is, just to kind of raise it up and make it look separate from his shirt. Or no, from his arm, I mean. Yes, make his shirt look separate from his shirt. That makes sense. But yeah, just kind of do that with, his hair, his shirt, his pants. Just kind of give them ever so slight level differences where the texture, the material textures meet, to just kind of make them stand out a little bit more, make them look a little bit more 3D. Just add some visual interest there. They could have done something with the way his eyes work, like actually make his pupils move side to side smoothly instead of just that blank, dead-ass fucking stare he has. Just really, really subtle little things that you could have done with this to make this fit more into the Smash world instead of just this straight-up wholesale rip.
Well, that does raise one question. Like, since they're basically using this on loan, like maybe the people that own it have very specific like guidelines how they want their shit portrayed.
However, I point back to Minecraft story mode.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's official Minecraft content with the creators, or I guess the IP owners at this point, their blessing. So
okay, yeah,
there's no real reason.
But you look at Sonic, and wasn't there like a stipulation where he couldn't be like any
Right,
like
that's-
majorly different colors?
Yeah, that's
and
kind of
stuff?
why I brought it up. But yeah,
You see like there's other official Sonic stuff that looks not completely, but where he can look very different too. But in this, I'm pretty sure there's a stipulations that he had to look a certain way.
Wasn't that Pac-Man's deal too?
Maybe I don't know. I didn't hear about
probably.
that.
No, not quite. Pac-Man was different. What Namco wanted with Pac-Man was they actually wanted him to look like that fucking new Pac-Man from like the Ghostly Adventures or whatever it is, that recent or that moderately recent, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, Brawl was a decade ago, but you know, when that was coming out, they wanted him to be that abomination, not the classic looking Pac-Man that we got.
I actually don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, let's see if I can
Yeah, see
find
if I can
it.
picture that.
I mean,
Um,
the look isn't bad for him. It's fine. It's
but maybe it was like the most recent at the time, so they're like, we need to represent, you know.
yeah, so the other thing about that is one, that design looks really fucking sterile to me. I hate it. But also it's supposed to be like Pac-Man's kid's son or something like that. So it's not even like
I didn't even
the
know that.
actual Pac-Man or some shit. And he's in like high school or middle school or some shit. Because of course
Pac-Man had this much like lore and stuff to it. I
'cause,
guess
yeah,
there
of
are
course
those like
everything has to
Pac-Man
be
World
taken in
games
high
and
school.
stuff,
But yeah, that's what that's what Namco Bandai wanted to put in there. But Sakurai said no.
Ugh.
yeah, I'm glad they didn't go with that. It's not as bad as I was expecting, but
Yeah. I have no problem with it, but I kind of prefer more of a classic,
right.
somewhat classic look for him.
Anyway, Roger, go on ahead with your complaint about what they packed in with Steve, because I agree with you 100%.
Are all y'all bitches ready for this?
No.
Bored and ready.
All right. Soak it in, boys. Okay, I'm sick of it. Yeah, my gripe with Steve, and Dave, I've made it known to Dave, and anyone else who will hear me from my soapbox, is I absolutely hate the music they picked for this. 100%. I think every single track is hot garbage. I know I am surprisingly in a vocal minority, because every time I look up YouTube comments of this crap, I see like, oh, this song slaps, or what does this douche canoe say? He said, not to cringe anyone, but this song is like a song played during a final battle between our man Steve and Herobrine. Not gonna lie.
God.
God, that sounds like someone who was hired to like make that comment or something. Like maybe he got paid to say something stupid.
There's
like
one
that.
word to describe this track: triumphant. This reminds me of Planet Wispy from Sonic Colors. Fuck you.
Not even fucking close. Do not besmirch that track.
This is this is a direct quote. This is a motherfucking work of art, from the piano to the bass. It's all such a beautiful yet energetic symphony. I love it. No, 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 no. Fuck you. No.
I hate it all.
I just don't care. I don't care about It's not like I ever played Minecraft, so I don't fucking care about what music they picked from it.
Okay. Here's the thing that really rubs my rhubarb the wrong way about this. All the tracks for this are from that Minecraft Dungeons game. None of the tracks are from the actual game of Minecraft. And what was it? Master Hero Soccer Guy said like, oh, we couldn't make the original Minecraft music battle worthy or something along those lines. Paraphrasing. Yeah. So no. Shut
up. Fucking use Sweden.
Use Sweden, remix it, because for God's sakes, you have a Pikmin level with motherfucking nature noises as a soundtrack in this goddamn game.
Right.
You can make Sweden work.
Well, like you don't even have to remix it. I mean, obviously the optimal choice would be include a remix, but also include just the base original. And I don't agree with Sakurai at all with it's not lively enough.
No.
Sometimes it's the juxtaposition that makes it work. I mean, fucking, you remember I Know Uta
Right.
back when Brawl
Oh yeah.
was released?
Yeah.
Like, that's not battle music, but it was fun to fight to because there was a juxtaposition there. Like, sometimes contrast works. I feel like Sweden is a perfect candidate for that.
I hate what this guy said. If my life was an anime, I would want this to be my OP.
Okay, buddy.
If your life was an anime, it would be a boring harem isekai because you're a sad, pathetic weeaboo.
This is Steve's official theme, Fight Me.
No.
I hate
It's all bad. It's all fucking garbage.
song, such a banger, and somebody make a Minecraft opening from this. Anime opening from this.
No.
Someone's probably gonna do it now.
Fucking screw this. Closing thoughts. Steve is fun, I think, but I still don't think he belongs there. I still hate that he's there. I hate it. I hate it.
I'll put my thoughts in. I agree with Dave. Steve is fun. I won't harp on the music anymore. However, I think his moveset needs some serious ass tweaking, though.
And I just think he's too much work. Like I know we kind of got in this last time when we were like ranking the DLC characters and how like not all characters need to have their, gimmicks or highly technical movesets. And I think they just went a little bit too far with Steve. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Sakurai spent all of his time thinking of how he could, but he never stopped to think whether or not he should.
Well, honestly, it's probably not his decision. It's probably decided by higher ups.
Well, technically speaking, it was, because you remember the way the DLC characters work. They bring him the character, and he decides, like, he basically gives the go, no, go. He can't come up with the characters, but he has the final say on whether or not he thinks they can work.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
he took it upon himself as a challenge to make Steve work.
Well, I guess you gotta kind of respect him for that.
Yeah, I don't like the outcome, but I respect the effort.
Right. A for effort.
Andy, your thoughts?
I mean, my hatred for him is definitely lowered a bit after he came out. Like I said before, like, I don't find him that fun. He's just kind of basic. I still like him better than some other characters, but not by much. And I still agree that I never wanted him in there, and I would be fine if he was just gone. But it's a little less hate now, but still pretty strong.
Well, that about sums that up. Moving on, we have another topic we want to get to, but before we hit on that, I want to just do a quick, well, hopefully quick bit about 2 particular online personalities making stupid fucking comments on the internet.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, first up on the chopping block, we have Alex Hutchinson and his retarded comments about streaming. So, for those who don't know, Alex Hutchinson labels himself as the creative director of, I believe it's Stadia Montreal.
Hold on, I pulled it up here.
Yeah, it's one of the Stadia.
Alex Hutchinson is the creative director at the Montreal studio of Stadia Games and Entertainment.
So I'm not gonna read the full tweet because I don't have it in front of me and I don't care enough. But the long and short of it is,
I have it. We're gonna read it. We have to make people suffer.
Hey, you go ahead.
We have to make them suffer. Quote by Alex Hutchinson, October 22nd, 2020. The real truth is the streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the games they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use.
So now, remember y'all, this is Stadia.
Don't say
Who I like saying y'all, fuck y'all.
Where'd you learn to talk like that?
Probably from Heather. Anyway, so Stadia is owned by Google. Google owns YouTube. What is one of the primary uses of YouTube right now? Streaming video games.
Video games.
Kind of counterproductive for somebody who is within Google's ranks to be holding an opinion that's counter to one of the things that Google does.
Yeah.
And fittingly so, Google has chosen to distance themselves from that comment because why the fuck wouldn't you? I mean,
it's think if these content creators did suddenly have to start paying money, like 90% of their content, which makes Google money, would be gone. So
yeah, and need I remind people, YouTube has exclusive contracts with some of these streamers. So what the fuck would be in it for them? Now, I don't believe it would be YouTube's decision to enforce the rule. It would be more that one of the IP holders of the game they're playing would have to make a claim, and then YouTube would basically just have to roll over for it. But given that they have these exclusive contracts with some of these streamers, and just these streamers in general, whether there's a contract or no, make them a ton of money, especially right fucking now. So there's no benefit for them to just let that slide.
And yeah, that also brings up the age-old argument that, you know, these streamers are basically giving them free advertising. And, like, there's been a lot of games that, like, you know, Among Us is a perfect example. Like, it became popular because so many people were streaming it, and it just went viral after that. So,
and now,
honestly, publishers and stuff and IP holders have more to lose, you know, by, you know, blacklisting people or making them pay or taking down YouTube channels or whatever. They're only shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, and like here's one of the counter arguments I've been seeing pretty consistently for this is like, okay, say one of these streamers is playing a story-driven game where it's, you know, pretty cutscene heavy. So, you know, some viewer is watching the stream, watching somebody play through the whole game, seeing all the cutscenes, and they now feel that they no longer need to buy the game because they've seen the whole story. They watched all the cutscenes. Well,
that was kind of what I was thinking.
Couple things about that. One, this kind of classifies as transformative works because this is commentary and critique here, because they're not just straight up watching the cutscenes by themselves. They're doing it with some Yahoo's commentary and whatever other dumb shit the streamer's known for. They're doing it with somebody else overlaid on top of it. So one, they're not getting the whole experience. Two, part of a game is the gameplay. The viewer is still not playing it. They are not consuming that portion of the product. Therefore, they are not getting the entire product by just watching it. Three, if they watch a streamer play through the entire game and they decide that they don't need to play it themselves because they've seen the whole thing, well, maybe that kind of falls on the developers' heads for making a game that isn't worth playing.
Yeah, that's a fair argument. And plus, it's like, if they don't care enough about the game to buy it themselves and would prefer to just watch it, they probably weren't going to buy it in the first place. Yeah. So it's not really, I don't see it as a loss of sale at all.
I mean, I kind of like get what he's getting at. I still think it's absolutely fucking stupid. But right. Like with that about like story-driven games and stuff, but it's still an absolutely stupid thing to say.
So that's my soapbox on that.
All right, that Yahoo's out of the way. What's number two, Dave?
Number two, Michael Pachter. I want to say back when we were doing LPs, I've brought this chuckle fuck up once or twice. Basically, for those who don't know, he is a video game analyst. He is basically just a penny pinching marketing exec. You know, he follows trends.
Okay, this is that Yahoo that just constantly says Nintendo's doomed, or hey, you should invest in Sony now and stuff like that.
So companies will hire him on as an advisory role for helping them make some of their marketing and project planning decisions, you know, based on what Pachter sees being, you know, the next big thing or what is and is not a stupid decision. So the funny thing is, I don't know why Pachter still has a job, because 9 times out of 10, he has been wrong.
Same reason Anita Sarkeesian has a job.
I don't want to fucking get into that. So, yeah, he's wrong more times than not. One of the few things he's been technically correct on has been microtransactions, and well, look where the industry is right now. So he's still not quite right. But the stupid thing he said most recently, he's got a hate boner for Nintendo, and the dumb thing he said recently was, "Oh, you know, if I were Nintendo, I would just basically throw out the base model Switch and just focus on the Switch Lite." To me, To me, I don't understand it. Like, just stick with a dedicated portable system. I don't understand this like home console handheld hybrid thing. I mean, like, let's be real. Nobody's actually playing this on the TV and in handheld mode. Everybody's just playing it in handheld mode. Like,
I don't think he could possibly be more wrong.
Does this guy have kids or a wife?
I have no idea, but he does not play video games.
Because
he's an old ass white dude who does not play video games, but it's his job to have his finger on the pulse of what gamers want.
he's so old he doesn't know what a pulse is. He's got the hand on the dick of the industry.
So yeah, just so many fucking things wrong with that. Like, one, he's not even pulling from any actual statistical data. Like,
no, yeah, he is. Dave.
There is no use data out there for the Switch.
Didn't you see his source at the bottom?
His feelings, his thoughts and feelings.
It says, dude, trust me.
Fucking.
I just this mentality of like, I don't understand, therefore it must be wrong.
Exactly, and that's why Pachter is such a piece of shit. That's how he has made every single one of his decisions. I have not seen him once show statistical data to prove his point. It's always just, I think, or I feel, or this is my hunch.
I had diarrhea this morning.
It's all coming from personal perspective and nothing else. And that's why I've seen so few correct predictions. And, like we said, he's got a hate boner for Nintendo. So most of his predictions are about how Nintendo is going to go under because of what they're doing.
Honestly, he's a great metric for Nintendo, because if he's ripping on them, I'm like, time to buy some stock, baby.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. The ultimate contrarian.
So that's it's my little soapbox about two internet morons that I just had to vent about how fucking stupid that crap is. I don't know if anybody else wants to weigh in on that, but
stupid.
Goddamn Christ.
Okay, I'll weigh on it. Dear Mr. Pachter, I know you are a peruser of the video game industry, so you'll most certainly listen to this podcast. I am addressing this to you. You say that no person uses their Switch in both modes. I counterpoint to you, sir. I play the Switch on my TV, and then my wife will occasionally take it to bed to play Animal Crossing. Your move, sir.
I mean,
I quite frequently do both.
Right,
like
same
the biggest
here.
fucking gimmick of the Switch is that you can do that.
And I think, and the fact that the Switch is so successful is kind of a testament to how much people do get the concept, and how much it works, and how much people love it. Because, for me personally, it's like, sure, when I'm at home, I like to play on my TV. I don't like sitting hunched over a handheld. But, if I'm out and about, camping,
or just in bed, or
whatever, or just in bed, or if somebody else is using the TV, then it's great. You could just play it.
It's great when you have to take a shit. Just take it in the bathroom.
And it's fucking seamless. It's seamless. It's so good.
Yeah, it's not
what
like
the
a
Wii U
laptop
wanted
where you
to
have
be.
to, unplug and plug a cord in or anything. It's just plop it in the dock and you're good.
Yep.
It's what the Wii U wanted to be, and it's great. I love it. Fuck you, Pachter. Fuck you. Not every decision Nintendo makes is good. Not every one of them jives with me, but this one does. I like this one. I want more of it. Nintendo, give more. Keep do.
Nintendo, hire this man. Wait, no, don't.
So the other big topic we had for today, video game movies, because we just so happen to have, well, not quite two, more like 1.5. 1.5 video game movie newses. So there's the full Monster Hunter movie trailer and a reveal of what Tom Holland looks like in the Uncharted movie. I'm probably gonna foam at the fucking mouth when we get to talking about Monster Hunter, so if anybody wants to interject with some thoughts of anything before I do that, I'll let you.
Well, first of all, the Uncharted stuff, Tom Holland, I get it's supposed to be like a younger version of him, but I just don't see him as Nathan Drake. And fucking Mark Wahlberg as Sully? Like, what the? No, that doesn't.
So have they formally said like when this takes place? Like, I know it's supposed to be younger them, but when I first heard about Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, I had figured they were just going to be like flashback scenes from like, when Drake was more or less a kid, kind of like what was in Uncharted 4 or whatever.
Okay, so I found what the timeline will be. The film is an adaptation of the PlayStation video game, but rather than following Drake in his 30s, there'll be an origin story with Mark Wahlberg starring as mentor figure Sully.
Of course, it's got to be the origin story.
So
we already got that in Uncharted 4, didn't we?
Yeah,
we
but we didn't get it in movie form.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it will be nothing like 4.
Yeah, it's going to be completely different.
I mean, from what I remember, because I played it a couple times, we really did. I mean, we saw how Nathan Drake got, how he got his name, because I don't think his actual name is Nathan Drake. It's something else. But they never really touched on that time period of when, like, Sully essentially adopted Nathan and took him under his wing. I mean, yeah, we're aware of when it happened, but I don't remember too much from what I've played of all the series. I don't remember too much of like that in-between period of...
it really doesn't elaborate that much on that.
So
which I'm okay with them doing that.
I don't fucking care.
I'm okay with it. It's just that this picture of Tom Holland here, I mean, yeah, I expect, younger Nathan Drake, sure, but why does he look like why is he dressed like older Nathan Drake? That's what I don't get.
That's kind of one of the things I wanted to get at.
They have to make him look so people recognize him.
See, Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, I mean, make all the Marky Mark jokes you want, but I think those are fair enough choices.
Dude, where's the Funky Bunch?
I think those are fair enough choices for those characters, but I don't think they're appropriate for the context they want. Like I said, I was wondering if this was going to be like them playing them in flashback scenes or something. And I get that they want to do like an origin story, but it kind of feels like they're going a little too far back. Like, this is one of those things where it feels more appropriate to, go with older in his 30s Nathan Drake and old as dirt Sully on like a main adventure, and then that main adventure has ties back to events of the past, giving them an excuse for flashbacks, which tie into the origin story, and then they connect back with what they're currently doing, and ultimately, they solve whatever the fucking mystery is and get the treasure. I mean, whatever. Like, just this big looping thing.
See, that could actually be good.
Past and present.
That's the problem. They don't want to make it good. They just want to fucking cash in on people knowing this video game. And they want Tom Holland to be front and center because he's hot off of the Spider-Man presses. So everyone's like, oh, that guy's Spider-Man. We got to see this movie.
But see, that's the thing, is if they want to cash in, then you would think they would stick with Drake in his 30s, because they could more easily make a familiar face recognizable as the Nathan Drake everybody knows. Nobody knows young ass Tom Holland Drake.
Like, you're thinking like a rational. Like,
I'm thinking like a fan of video games.
The movie will come out and it'll actually be good, and we'll eat our words.
I mean, I'm
not saying it won't be. Because I'm just saying
Well, that is a part of the games that they haven't elaborated on, like, the in-between when Sully and Drake met. Like, I can see that being a good story, but it's a matter of how they execute it.
I hate the stories of, this is how this, like, well, you already know he's fine later on. Who gives a shit? Like, I absolutely despise prequels.
Remember Prometheus? Remember Covenant?
Hey, what was that black goo?
See, I'm trying to look at this both as a person who likes playing video games and enjoyed playing these video games,
you fucking
as
zoomer.
as well as the perspective of how a marketing executive would see this, of how
boomer,
how they want people to see this as recognizable. And I feel like
that's why they just threw him in the clothes. That's all they need.
See, the clothes aren't enough for me though. Like, I look at that and I just see Tom Holland dressed as Nathan Drake. I don't see young Nathan Drake. Like, because they're trying to push this as the context of this is the only Nathan Drake you're going to see in this movie, that does not make sense to me from a marketing perspective, because nobody recognizes that. They recognize the name Tom Holland, they recognize the name Uncharted, but that doesn't look like Nathan Drake.
The people who make these things don't give a shit. Like, this is just video game movie 101.
Yeah, but normally all they want to do is just like get the image there. And they don't even have the image. At least not in my mind. They have half the image.
So do you guys know if this movie is actually supposed to be canon or not? Or is it just like its own universe, sort of?
It's probably like, who fucking knows kind of a thing.
Because that's kind of a gripe that I wanted to get into about video game movies in general, is that a lot of the times it's just its own separate like universe. It's never in canon, and like the developers have little input in the development of the movie. So it's like, okay, why do I even care then? Like, I'm a big fan of the games, but this is not even a part of the universe. So that's why I dismiss them entirely.
Well, I mean, usually the reason they like to do that is, here comes the bigwig executives making the decisions here, is they don't want to confuse the audience. If they make this canon with source material, well, then audiences might ignore it if they haven't touched the source material. So they'll be like, oh, I don't know what the fuck this is. I'm going to be so confused, even if it's an origin story.
If they're not already like a fan of the game to begin with, they're probably not going to be that interested anyway.
Yeah,
right. But they don't think like that.
I will cite the Simpsons movie for this, because there's two things that they changed that if you're a fan of the show would be just like, whatever, these things, but they want it to be accessible to everybody.
So they can make the most money.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger as the president, that instead of using Rainier Wolfcastle, who is supposed to be basically like their Arnold in the show. And then there was also this thing where they wanted to use like Milhouse with Lisa for something, but they're like, oh, people might not know about Milhouse's crush on Lisa, so we're going to throw in some like new character so people won't get confused.
Yeah, basically they don't want to risk confusing audiences because they want more people to see it, thus they can get more money. So that's the whole reason for that.
It doesn't mean I have to like
this. With this particular. Oh, I don't agree with it either. I mean, it's the same.
I'd rather it actually share lore with this stuff that I've already invested.
Sidebar here. The same shit happened with the Marvel Netflix series. And how those used to be canon with the MCU, but they tried to keep it as distant as possible so they wouldn't confuse people. And then I think it was by the time it was like halfway through Luke Cage, they basically decided to drop it entirely and pretend they'd never said it to begin with.
Yeah.
So the Netflix series is no longer canon with the MCU, and that's why you don't hear many references to the movies in the shows and the shows in the movies.
I'm fine with that because their Iron Fist was fucking awful.
I'm so sad about that, but that was the sidebar. For this one in particular, I could honestly see them making it canon, and I mean, who knows? They probably fucking won't. But this is the case.
The references to slight references to stuff in the games. Be like, hey, remember like random fucking thing? Ooh, look at that! It's from the game.
No one's ever really gone.
This is a case where it could at least work because, I mean, for better or worse, the Uncharted games are basically action movies in video game forms. Like, one of the things I want to mention is a lot of video game movies, it kind of feels like, what's the point? Because you're just taking a story, but where's, like, you're taking out the gameplay. But, the Uncharted movies kind of fit here because the gameplay fits with a big action movie set piece. And so, also, it works.
Well, also with Uncharted, especially, they could, in a movie form, they don't have to have all the mindless climbing sections and stuff. So it'll be more fast-paced and fun.
You won't get to make a drinking game out of every time Drake climbs on something and it falls apart as he's doing it.
Right.
Man, I was surprised after the 60th time it happened. Stop falling. Stop falling.
So yeah, I don't know. We haven't seen enough of this to. Yeah, we haven't seen enough of this to like really say if it's going to be good or not. I'm already questioning some of the decisions, but fucking it is what it is, and I guess we'll just kind of have to hold our tongues
Right.
a bit until a bit later on. However, Monster Hunter.
Before we get to Monster Hunter, I
Okay.
I know you said to interject, but there's one thing.
Okay.
Because before we get to Monster Hunter, there's something Tom Holland related I wanted to mention. Because have you guys seen like what they're doing to Peter Parker in the PS5 remaster of Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Like, they just
yep.
look entirely. And like I don't remember what bullshit reason they gave, but like their new actor looks a hell of a lot more like Tom Holland, and I'm just like that's 100% gotta
You're
be.
You're not hiding it.
It's like they're just trying to hide it, and like everybody sees right through them. It's like no bullshit. I mean, I don't have that much more to say about it than that, but I figured it was at least worth mentioning, especially since Tom Holland is kind of the subject.
Well, and I mean, Christ, watch him change the suit last minute. They'll strip out the original suit and just put in the movie suit.
Right.
In fact, I think the movie suit's already in there, but I'm saying they'll just remove it, or they'll remove the game suit and just make the movie suit the default or some shit. Who knows? But
what the fuck, Andy?
The hell
fucking Monster Hunter.
I'm gonna zone out now while you guys bitch about that.
Well, it's
Monster Hunter.
I have a whole lot to say, but yeah.
So the thing about the Monster Hunter movie isn't even so much as I have complaints as a Monster Hunter fan. It's just that it is fucking by the numbers video game movie 101 brain dead bullshit.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I watched that trailer and I was just laughing at just all the fucking cliches they were throwing in there, and I'm like,
oh no, 6!
It looks nice, but oh my god, just everything else is just so terrible.
So even if I put aside my love for Monster Hunter here, it's just a really fucking bad way to go about any of this. For one, it's fucking military isekai bullshit. Like, I swear to God, every fantasy movie that is afraid of its source material does this, where they have to have some sort of bullshit where it's our world meets theirs, because it gives them a really lazy way to make the audience feel invested in this, because they don't think they can craft a believable enough world that the audience will actually be invested in it and care about the fate of this world. So they have to bring in shit from the
people who don't know what's going on, so that they can have everything be explained to, like, the whole world explained to them.
Yep, I was gonna mention that too. It's a real fucking lazy way to give exposition. And just fucking military, really? Does it have to be fucking military? Like, and these characters, I can already tell you they're gonna be cookie cutter as fuck.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like Mila Jovovich is gonna be fucking your stoic ass heroine. She's gonna be basically the exact same character she was in the Resident Evil movies, but like more protective because she's the leader of this squad. And then you're gonna have a bunch of basically no-name bodies who are gonna die pretty quick. You're gonna have your real sarcastic asshole who's the fun jerk of the group, and then you're gonna have your big bruiser boy, which is probably that black dude who screams "I'm 6!" because that's fucking every movie, is the big burly, like, I like to talk about meat all the time guy is always a black dude. It's just fucking paint by numbers horse shit.
Yeah.
And oh god,
are you gonna talk about the thing with Rethlos at the end?
So I don't know if this is, I've gotta imagine this is just something in the trailer, because they did bring in the actual team behind Monster Hunter. Like, they clearly did not consult them for the plot of this movie or like any of the meaningful decisions. But when it comes to the monster designs and the CG models, they consulted with them for that. So I've got to think this is just terrible editing on the trailer's part. I mean, not like I expect anything out of this movie to begin with, but I sure as fuck hope so, because they just fucking used the same Diablo scream for Rathalos. When the two monsters have entirely different noises. Just
Well, also that she's like attacking him with like a fire weapon, I think, and he's supposed to be like a fire type or element or whatever. So when
yeah, Rathalos is weak against dragon element, you bitches. What the fuck? Do your research. God damn it.
I mean, maybe
They're
that's
on
gonna
the
be,
fire.
she's gonna attack him, and they're gonna be like, "You, it's not gonna work on him."
Yeah, I literally just watched the trailer for the first time just now. Like, it was funny, like watching you describe it, and it was like all happening in real time. I was like, wow, really just like paid by number. Like when he mentioned the black guy, like he just showed up right when he said that. It's like, oh my god, this is perfect.
It's just,
Honestly,
it's just making me laugh altogether, just with how cliche it is.
I don't like it. I don't even know if it's going to be so bad. It's good type of thing.
Yeah, it looks.
It's going to be so bad. It's infuriating, and it's fucking.
I mean, already the bar is set too high because of the Mario Brothers movie. Nothing is gonna top Mario Bros. It's not.
I'm willing to let there be a Monster Hunter movie where the whole point is to turn your brain off and watch a bunch of people swing big sticks at cool looking monsters. But this is not the fucking way you go about it. Like, Monster Hunter games already give you a bare bones ass plot to work with. Like, even the Monster Hunter games don't care about a plot that much. All you need, like, you don't need this our world meets their world bullshit, because all that does is it just cheapens the world you're putting them in. It means you are not confident enough in the world of the source material, and you're not confident enough in your own abilities to make a good version of that world. But you don't even need much for a plot. Here's the basic plot of every Monster Hunter game. Bunch of hunters, you got the guild, who's, they're the ones in charge of controlling hunts, so they don't overhunt anything, but they do what needs to be done for supplies or defense. And then one day, big ass mysterious monster shows up that starts basically fucking over the whole food chain and is at risk of ruining the entire ecosystem. Well, hunters, kick into action, figure out what this shit is, and do something about it. There's your goddamn plot.
I could have seen it as like maybe like a coming of age thing where there's someone just learning to hunt, but then it kind of comes down to them to have to take out the big monster that's causing the problem. Just real basic shit.
You don't need much. You don't need this cheap our world meets their world to get people invested in it. It's just
having it be like
basic environmental plot.
Yeah, you just have like a young hunter, like fresh. You can string in like that exposition a little bit to explain the world without making it too fucking obvious.
Yeah, there isn't even that much that needs to be explained. Just
give him some kind of mentor character that kind of goes like, my day, yada yada. And
as you said, Andy, coming of age is the perfect way of doing that, because it gives you your excuse for exposition, because then they can explain it to the new hunter, the one who's trying to get good.
Him to start out slow and kind of grow with his abilities and his weapons and all that. It, like, very much like the game, like, as you get all the things you need, and it's so simple.
And now here's where I am. Like, most of that was just me as not a Monster Hunter fan. That's just me as understanding basic plot principles and ways that you can make this work without completely butchering it with cliches. Here's the part where I am gonna weigh in from a fan's perspective. There were 3 monsters, like 3 big ones that they showed in the trailer. There was Diablos, Rathalos, and then for a very brief moment, there's a monster called Gormagala. Now, from what I recall, the whole thing about Gormagala is he was one of the flagship monsters for one of the previous games, and his whole shtick is, like, he shows up and starts basically infecting every monster around with this, what's basically a rage disease. And it's a problem. But point is, Gormagala is kind of a big deal. Rathalos, he was a flagship monster way the fuck back when, but he's not a flagship anymore. He's just kind of this is a monster that's there. He's kind of like low to mid rank as far as hunts are concerned. He's not really considered a threat anymore. And they've come out with a billion different permutations of Rathalos, like variants and subspecies, to make it more of a threat. But the base Rathalos, not a threat. Doesn't matter how big you make it, it's not a threat anymore. Gormagala, bigger threat. Now, there is footage floating around.
Wait, are you there?
Yeah, what happened?
You there, David?
Dave?
God, he got so mad that he just died.
Dave?
He's not muted.
Yeah, I'm here.
Dave, you
Discord
you-
fucked me over.
I was gonna say you cut out right after you said
There's footage floating around.
there's footage floating around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's footage floating around. It's labeled as test footage. And given that the leaked plot details we've seen have so far matched up entirely with the full trailer we got, this leads me to believe that it is not test footage at all. It's actual footage from the end of the movie, where the monsters make it through the portal and back into our world. The two monsters that do this are Rathalos and Gormagala. And it's going to be there's just this big bullshit fight where basically we're expected to root for Rathalos as it basically saves us, along with the help of the humans, from Gormagala. No, none of this. No, fucking no. Gormagala would just rip Rathalos' ass open. No, fucking no. Stupid, no. Bullshit, no. Also another fucking stupid thing is, I guarantee you, they're gonna pull, like, Monster Hunter weapons aren't actually anything that special. They're just weapons. Like, they're made of monster parts, but they're effectively just weapons. I guarantee you what they're gonna do is they're gonna make it so that, weapons from our world don't do shit to them because bullshit magic reasons. You have to use parts or weapons made of monster parts to hurt them because reasons. Magic. I ain't gotta explain shit. They're gonna fucking do it. I'm calling it now. Fucking hate it.
Yeah, because it would be too easy to just mow them down with guns if they could.
Yeah, there's literally a weapon in the game called a heavy bowgun. And that's all. That's what it does. It just shoots. For fuck's sake, man.
Man, I remember when I saw that trailer, the first thing was I was like, man, I can't wait to hear David bitch about it.
God, it's actually worse than I expected because I'd only heard about it like, it's going to feature a human from our world. I thought that meant like just the Resident Evil chick just finds her way there and just kind of ends up in the, the guild or whatever and has to work her way up, which is stupid as hell, but that's better than what it actually is. I didn't expect a whole platoon of freaking, paint by numbers, cookie cutter military characters just shooting at monsters. Like,
generic military isekai.
Right. It's like, okay, it seems like they're trying to freaking appeal to like dude bro, like violent, more older audiences, when I don't really think that's what the games are supposed to appeal to.
Well,
like, they should have just made it, they could have just toned down. I mean, I don't want to say tone down the violence, but they could have maybe marketed it towards a more younger crowd, and it still would have worked from a marketing perspective too. Like, it could have been like, how You Train Your Dragon, how successful that was.
Right?
Like, they could have just made it like along those lines, and it was still, they could have marketed it as such, and it could have been a hit regardless. But now they just alienated their core audience so far that, like, I don't see how anybody's going to be interested in it.
You know who is going to be interested in this? The same fucking people who like the Resident Evil movies, and probably China. Because that has become our movie industry, is let's make movies that appeal to China, because that's where we get most of our money from, is the Chinese audience.
Who like the Resident Evil movies are more just kind of looking at them, because I think they get... I never watched anything past like the first or second one.
I watched the second one. That's the
But I
first.
think they get ridiculous.
The first one, and it's related here because it's the same director and same actress, because fucking nepotism. Paul Anderson is just obsessed with having his wife in movies. But yeah, no, she's a terrible actor. She's a fucking terrible actor. But as far as the Resident Evil movies are concerned, the first one was decent. Like, it got a little ridiculous at the end, but the last time I watched it, like, it was still all right. But it nosedived. The second movie was fucking atrocious, and they only got worse. And that's not even a Resident Evil fan perspective. It's just, these are bad movies. They're really fucking bad movies.
The thing that pisses me off the most is that they're so freaking popular, and like anytime I want to talk about the Resident Evil games, people are always like, "Oh man, have you seen the new movie?" I'm like, "No, because I don't care about the movies." And then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I never really played the games much, but I love the movies though." I'm just like, "Oh, I want to strangle these people."
I think it was the fourth one was the last one I saw. I walked out of the theater with a fucking headache. It was just so stupid. Like, that movie was dumber than what the fuck was it called? I think it was Lucy. That's that Scarlett Johansson movie where like the 10% of your brain movie.
Yeah.
It was dumber than that. At least Lucy was dumb fun. Resident Evil was just dumb. Fucking awful. But yeah, I swear, Paul Anderson is like the new Uwe Boll.
Yeah.
Because he's exhibiting the same symptoms, and I'm sure he's getting some fucking tax write-off from like
have a bigger budget than Uwe Boll ever did though.
Well, like, I don't know if you had ever heard about this, but the whole thing with Uwe Boll and why he was making shitty video game movies was literally because he was using them as like tax havens.
Yeah, I knew that. He used some sort of tax loophole from the German government to fund these movies or something like that.
Yeah, and then not have to pay any taxes on the income.
Right.
And it's just fucking weird because like Paul Anderson did the original Mortal Kombat movie, and while that wasn't good, like, it at least felt a lot more faithful to the Mortal Kombat games.
I actually watched the first Mortal Kombat movie like not that long ago, and I'm like, you know what, this isn't really like, I mean, it's definitely not like good, but it's pretty harmless, and like, yeah, it represents it at least somewhat well.
And I mean, honestly, you wouldn't want it to be like good, because that's kind of the fun of Mortal Kombat, is it's just cheesy bad, but in a fun way. And like, he managed to do that with the Mortal Kombat movie, so why is he just completely fucking it over in all of his movies nowadays? Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. What I wish is that like game companies would just have more input to stop shit like this from happening. But it seems like they just sell the license and then that's like the end of it.
Well, like, the problem is they technically don't have to, because it doesn't matter how bad the movie is. Like, time has shown us that no matter how shit these movies are, it will not damage the franchise itself.
Well, maybe because fans of the franchise are smart enough to just, dismiss that bullshit. I mean, at least I would hope so.
Anyways.
Well, it's because, these movies generally appeal to people who aren't really fans of the games or don't even really know about the games that well, which is kind of what I was getting at with the Resident Evil stuff. Like, people tend to, it's two completely separate entities at this point.
Yeah, and like, they kind of, because these movies are made with, money in mind, like, the whole goal is to make money. And, I understand that's the point of video games too. They're products to sell us, but, fucking whatever. Like, you can still make a good product to sell us, but all they care about is how can they make the most money possible. Mm-hmm. So how can they boil this down to its most basic elements and then twist it in such a way that anybody, whether they played the games or not, can understand what's happening. So that's why you get separate universes that have nothing to do with the actual canon, and you get origin stories. Like, you have to start from the very fucking beginning.
So that the audience is, brought in and up to speed. They can't start in the middle of something.
Yeah, because otherwise they'll be scared off.
Yep.
But like we said before, why can't you just have kind of a coming of age thing? And
I mean, this is just movies this is just video game movies in general at this point.
But what I like, getting to the whole wanting to make as much money as possible thing, I think a better way to go about it would to actually make your movie good and actually have it tie in with the game. Whoa. Finish.
No.
Because like, then people will actually be like, oh, I like this, I should play the games too. and then the people who play if the movie is good, people who already played the games are going to watch the movie, and then you've just attracted a whole you've just expanded the market. But what they
but making quality movies costs more money.
But they'll get a much bigger return in the long run, I think.
Don't care.
But they don't think about that.
I know everybody only ever thinks of the short term.
Look at the video game industry these days and microtransactions. Right. Short-term gains, they don't give a fuck about the long run. Like, as soon as the microtransactions dry up on a game, they move on. Movie studios think the exact same fucking way. That's why good series get canceled all the damn time.
Well, yeah, I understand that's why it is the way it is. I'm just saying, like, it shouldn't be.
We just need to have like fewer people who think with their wallets running these. Like, you know, obviously I'm not saying just spend all the fucking money to make this the best movie that won't make any money. But there's a balance, man. Come on. Nothing will ever top the Mario Brothers movie.
See? So why bother? That's why no one tries.
Yeah.
I'm saying we should do like a Red Letter Media review style video, just all about the Mario Brothers movie.
We should. We can all sit on a table and have Spotted Cow.
We'll all sit at 4 different tables because we're in 4 different locations and sit on Discord.
Well,
ooh, wait, no, we can do it through Tabletop Simulator.
Oh my god!
Someone's gotta have like Spotted Cow mods or some shit.
Hold on, I'm gonna look. You got me thinking.
And if not, someone has to make it.
I'll learn Blender or whatever the fuck you need for that.
Unity.
Well, I mean, Blender's the 3D model thing. I don't know. If it doesn't exist, we have to make it.
Oh, hey, they have Love Letter on here.
Yeah. So yeah, fucking video game movies, man. It's about
fuck.
It's about all I can think to say on that.
Yeah, I don't really have much else.
Yeah, I'm basically spent.
Too angry for any more words.
I just don't care. I've lost faith in most of humanity. I mean, I had before, but I lost that additional shred that I didn't know I had.
You've gotten too tired to be upset.
No, I'm still upset with things. I just nothing. People bitch all the time, and nothing gets better, and nothing has changed over a long, long time, and I don't expect anything to ever get better again, anyways. So
all this video game stuff, none of it's new. It's just So
why would it get better now? That's right. Kind of the way I'm looking at it.
I just like to vent. Therapeutic.
No, yeah, that's fine. It's just I hear so much bitching about the same things over and over again that I'm just like, why even open your mouth?
Just screaming into the void.
Yeah, someone has to do it.
Does it have to be us? Will be.
Whether
it has to be or not, it will be.
I mean, I got nothing better to do.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I'm freaking quarantined probably for at least another week, so.
Well then, any other topics, boys?
Not really.
Well then, let's say we close it out in our usual fashion. Anybody got a question?
A question, yeah.
Well, I mean, I actually do have a question, but I don't know if it's my turn or not.
I don't remember whose turn it was.
Yeah, go ahead and take it, Nick.
Yeah, fuck it.
Okay, well, my question is, name a game that you played during a really significant period of your life that you can't help but associate that game with now.
Fuck.
Shit.
I mean, I can remember a lot of games at different parts of my life, but I can't really say anything about a super important one off the top of my head.
Or just name a game that had, or maybe it just had a significant impact on you that you just kind of remember it, defining a certain period of time in your life or something.
Actually, yeah, I think if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Pokemon Gold. That was a big fucking deal for me.
Yeah.
Was that because I was I think we were in middle school.
When that came out the beginning of our first year of middle school. I remember that.
It was the transition to middle school, that was a very tough time for me. I was not prepared for that.
Oh yeah. And same here.
Pokemon was a comfort food for me at the time, and I remember just really diving into that. And I mean, second gen is still my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they've ever really made any bigger strides since going from first to second gen.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver will be the best iteration of it and just the best Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had something else I wanted to say about Pokemon too, and I forgot what it was already. Also, yeah, Pokemon Silver, which was the one I got, was also the first game that I ever actually like pre-ordered and saved up all my change and stuff. Whatever 13-year-old me could scrounge up at the time just to buy it the day it came out. So yeah, that's also significant for me. Then
I remember us getting. Well, I don't know about you, but I remember getting shit for still playing. It was considered like we were too old to be playing Pokemon. I'm like,
oh yeah. So it was hard because I loved it so much, and yet if anyone found out you still played it, like you got made fun of. And it's like, and like that joke's on them because we're all adults and we still play it, and it's more popular than ever.
So well, that's why
I was have to say about them is fuck them.
Middle school was a tough time because that's when like elementary school was fine, but middle school is really when people started to like really get mean, and
right.
They would find any reason to just make fun of you. So yeah, that was a tough time.
It's really funny how like a lot of people who talk about like what the most catty time growing up was, they always cite high school. But for me personally, and I don't know, the impression I got from you guys was generally like high school for us was largely pretty smooth, but yeah, it was middle school where all of that shit just really kicked in.
Yeah,
and once those 2 hellish years were over, then high school was like fucking smooth sailing
for the most part. I mean, I remember there being times in high school too, but
nothing compared to fucking middle school, at least not for me.
Compared to 2 years where there was so much more, but I'm not gonna act like high school was perfect, but middle school was definitely worse. And I think it was mostly because everyone was kind of like still very childish and like mean-spirited with like that childlike mentality of not really knowing you're being quite as mean as you are, and also just being real like petty and selfish. Yeah. People had not quite moved on from that, but now they were very good at just directing it at everyone around them, and I think that's
also puberty.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Puberty made everybody in our fucking grade mean as shit. And then like once everybody like understood it, everybody kind of calmed down in high school.
Yeah.
But then middle school, no.
Yeah.
Everybody was just kind of nasty.
Well, another thing about high school is like, that's when I met when Andy and I met you. It's also when we met Bozeman. So we kind of developed our own little clique. So we just didn't care what all the assholes and stuff had to say about us. Like, no. That's right. We met David in middle. Sorry, David. But like, I think in high school, it's like when our clique kind of like formed together more.
Well, that's where we also got more because in middle it was kind of the 4 of us, if at all. Whereas high school, we kind of expanded. There was kind of a larger group to it, but still our smaller clique, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it just felt like we had our own group. We had our own little group in high school. And everybody else who would otherwise, hate us or make fun of us, we just didn't hear. We had no reason to care because we had each other. And as cheesy as that sounds, that's kind of how I feel about it.
I like it.
Well, that leads into my answer. I mean, I've got a better answer that like closer fits your original question, and that would actually be Xenoblade. But there's kind of more personal shit to that than I care to get into on this. So instead, my answer is going to be kind of a twofer. It would be Melee and Double Dash because that's kind of what made us form as close of a friendship as we have.
Right. You could say that, the Smash Kart League, Saturday nights that we always do now has its roots back when, just the 3 of us played Double Dash back when it first came out.
There's a reason I look at that shit every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then eventually it became the 4 of us when Bozeman came in, and like it just kind of it's just what formed our clique.
Right, it is the basis of it.
So yeah, that's my answer to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like it. How about you, Roger? Do you have anything?
I would like to chime in and say that my middle school and high school years sucked monkey fuck. I'm just gonna leave it at that. College is where everything.
I wish we knew you back then.
College was basically my reset of my social life.
Well, that's usually what college is.
You grew up in Wisconsin Rapids, right?
Technically, yeah, but I went to Nakusa for all of my schooling. It's a mill town, so
mostly deer hunting and ice fishing.
Yep. So go ahead and go ahead and use your imagination how well the schooling is there.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Dave in the sense that I have two games that really stuck out with me as kind of defining my college as fun. First up is Double Dash. I remember just being a freshman, and oh god, nearly every other night we were playing Double Dash with whoever was on the floor.
Shit, why the hell didn't I meet you yet?
I don't know. And then
Didn't meet you till Alex dragged you over.
Yep. The other one is Halo 3 because it was just fun. You know, we basically stuck with the same floor of friends that I had during the second year of college, and everyone had an Xbox 360. Everyone had Halo 3. So, I mean, I just it was practically every night we were playing Halo 3, whether it's just regular multiplayer or just fucking around with custom modes. I mean, it was just good times, good times.
Yeah, Halo 3. I remember being pretty fond of that one because I was like owned myself when I got like a 360, and that was when I was off in college, and that was how I play. Like I remember playing that with everyone and being able to keep in touch because that was like my first real online console and like with a headset and everything. So
and it had 4-player co-ops. So like, yeah, you guys all went off to college, so I was still able to play with like you and Bozeman, and that's actually how I met Eric too. Was playing Halo 3 with you guys.
Same.
Eric,
And
that is.
Roger's college answer just reminded me, kind of similar note, fucking Guitar Hero. Like, because I didn't pick that game up until basically college. Because like me and Mark first were introduced to it when we went to I can't remember. I know who I'm thinking of. I just can't remember the name off the top of my head. But we went to someone's graduation party.
Not like anyone listening is gonna know who it is anymore.
Yeah, we went to somebody's graduation party, and we kind of waited until most of it had calmed down, and a lot of the people we didn't give a shit about were gone, and then we just kind of hung out with that guy in the house, and we were playing Guitar Hero. We're like, holy shit, this is actually pretty cool. So I picked up a copy and brought it with me to college, and I ruined my floor with that game because I was playing it and it drew crowds, and then eventually that got a bunch of like the dude bros on the floor to pick up their own copies of it, and it became fucking miserable after that because it would be like 3:00 in the morning and you just hear somebody with some dude bro on the floor with their door wide open playing at like max volume and sucking at it because you'd just hear dun, 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 dun.
What I hated was later. It was a bit later in my time when Rock Band came out, and there was someone on my floor who had the fucking drums, but they were like a couple rooms down, so I couldn't hear the music. I just heard those fucking annoying ass drums because it was just like tap, 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 super loud. And they didn't play it late into the night, but they still played it enough that it was absolutely irritating.
Yeah, I fucking destroyed my freshman floor by introducing them to that game.
Well, if you didn't do it, Masters was so popular. If you didn't do it, somebody else would have. Like it would have happened anyway.
During my freshman year of college, someone had Guitar Hero. I didn't get into it till like my sophomore year of college, but someone had Guitar Hero on my floor, and they always played the same song every day, every night, at full volume with their door open.
Yep. I couldn't tell what song they were playing on my floor because, like I said, they were really bad, and all you heard was them missing notes.
I don't remember what song it was. I'm assuming my rage is just keeping that memory suppressed.
Memory. Oh.
Well, I guess I can get to my...
Oh, yeah, you haven't actually answered yet.
Yeah, this is probably more along the lines of, like, the original version of the question. But, like, yeah, for me, like, I really associate Breath of the Wild with, like, me losing my job and having my whole life get turned upside down and stuff. Because I remember that's the game I was playing, like, when that news broke to me. So I remember, like, going home after the guy the guy basically ripped my whole foundation out from under me, then going home and trying to play Breath of the Wild and trying to enjoy it. I'm like, So
Ugh.
so yeah, just how it's like anytime we talk about Breath of the Wild, like I just kind of all I could think about is that.
I remember that time for you was pretty rough.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like I did find a new job, and like that's when Persona 5 came out. So I kind of associate Persona 5 with like new beginnings and starting over and stuff.
You pulled off your mask.
Yeah, so
You never saw it coming, did you?
yeah, it was my last surprise.
I think it's time for you to go to bed.
It's almost scary how good I am.
You just mad?
Oh my god, Nick.
Like, what did I miss that?
So it's almost scary how good I am.
Oh, shut up. I wish I could ask you to repeat that now. I can't think of too many games for like that I'm associated with like a real shitty time in my life. I'm sure somewhere if I thought about it, but I don't really have anything that springs to mind. I remember playing Rock Band after we had to put Hendrix down. But yeah, I remember that it was just a very strange feeling of fuck.
I don't remember what I was in the middle of playing when Hickory died. I don't remember at all.
Anywho.
Dave, should I play us our exit song?
Sure, play us out.
Wait, no, we haven't talked about Mass Effect yet.
No, don't play us out. Don't play us out. Fuck,
What?
no.
Turn it up?
I'm sure you're allowed to play it.
Oh, I'm not allowed to play anything.
I regret everything.
This isn't the super cringe version.
Oh, it's not?
No, the double cringe one is the pony one.
No, we're done here. I'm out. Fucking.
There you go.
Nope, we're fucking done here.
No, keep going.
Getting comfy, signing
Embrace
out.
the friendship.
You don't have control over the editing this time. I do. So suck on it, motherfucker.
Fuck.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Smash that bell.
My sword with sharpness too. Look, that zombie's got one too. Out of bread, what do I
Holy
do?
shit, I forgot how terrible this is.
Oh, it's awful.
Even have a tool. Come on, button.
That's enough of that. Alright.